Hello there guys, welcome back to the e-bike repairs YouTube channel. I've got in this today. This is a I don't remember what it's from now. Oh no. Well anyway, it's a 24 volt 20 amp hour lithium ion battery pack from a I can't remember what it's called now. An Airwheel Pro? I can't remember. It's from an electric wheelchair. Anyway, that's what I know. And inside, I've already popped the screws out because I'm bad, but I've screwed it back together so you can get the full experience. There are no markings on the outside of this. That wants to undo. What I will do though, I will flash something up on the screen now of what it's called. And oh, there we go. Sorry, this is the most rambly, awful introduction video ever. It's got 4 screws to open it up. They are very, very, very long, and they are M something. I can tell you because I've got this super handy thing I bought on the internet. They must be M5 then, if they fit through the M5 hole, and they don't fit through the M4 hole, I guess. Long screws, Phillips head, standard thread, standard nuts. Nothing too crazy going on there. And this one, oh there you go, it does want to come out. You look at that. Okay, 2 halves of the case. This case is the thing that then bolts into the actual wheelchair. Bits of foam, 1, 2, 3. 4, 5 bits of foam there. There's a little circuit breaker in there. That's a 50 amp circuit breaker. I don't know if you're going to be able to read that or not. Focus. Focus. Oh well, it is. I'm not lying. Our discharge wires just come out through here there. Just straight through the edge there. And then here you go. Oh, there you go. Look, an Airwheel. Ah, look at that. Airwheel.net, lithium ion battery pack 18650 MF1-63S, 24 volt, 20 amp hour. Let's have a peek inside, shall we? I think this will be covered in. I've lost my knife. Well, that's not good, is it? What do I do about that? What do I do about that? Do I not have another one? I don't even have another one. How am I going to open you? Pair of scissors? Well, I'm going to try and use these. They work. So I'd imagine there are no lying about the claims of this battery, because they seem to be a reputable manufacturer and seems to be quite expensive to buy a new one. And come on. This one's in for a resell. Wow. Because it doesn't hold the charge properly. I suspect that's probably true, because I think the customer said it was coming up to 5, 7 years old. It was getting on a bit, this pack, which, you know, lithium battery's got a lifespan of a certain number of years, and if it's got past that amount of time, it's pretty much stuck with it. Look, I found a tiny knife. That'll do. It's not sharp, but it might do the job. Just slice the caps on tape down there. Oh my goodness. And down there. And up here. Ta-da! Battery pack. It is. That's some of the space we've got to work with. We've actually got a bit more space than that, but that's fine. So what have we got going on here? Should really get that screw out of the way, shouldn't I? There we go. So we've got, what kind of cells have we got? Maybe they're real LG cells. They might be LG GAMF 11865. To me, they look like unbranded cells. I don't see any evidence of leaking. They look like nice spot welds. It's just ladder put together. Nothing really bad or horrible about it at all. Looks absolutely fine. Size-wise, so we are 7S, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups of cells. And then in parallel, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know how exactly that does, maths-wise, into 20 amp hours, but if it were 10, they'd be 2 amp hours each. And then 9, so they must be a bit more than 2 amp hours each, I would assume. So yeah, I'm probably going to rebuild this with, I'm going to maybe 35Es or something like that. I'll check how much this is meant to discharge, but we've got our BMS here, HYD 806 7S 30 amp, fully charged voltage or cut off top voltage 4.25, which is, whilst it should say 4.2, is probably bog standard for one of these. That's probably realistically where it actually stops. And 2.8 volt is the bottom end where it will stop discharging. 2017 906. I don't know what way around the date is there, but 2017 is all that matters. We've got our charge and discharge port here. I think it's just a common port BMS. And we've got our battery connection here, temp sensor there, and our positive connection there. Things are fairly neat and tidy and hot glued down to keep them in place. I see absolutely nothing wrong with this pack whatsoever. It would be lovely to see name brand cells in here, but it doesn't matter because it's going to have name brand cells in it. It was clearly hand spot welded, so built by hand as opposed to by machine, because they, can you see that there? They missed a spot weld here, so that's a hole in the nickel there. It's only spot welded on in 2 places, and that one's blown up as well. And they missed just here, and you see the little bit of a burn mark where the sparks have gone over there, and they missed pressure-wise there. So a machine wouldn't miss, I hope, or if it did, it would miss more. Yeah, there's a couple of spots where they've blown through the side of the nickel here. Just there is another one. There's quite a big one actually. There in the strip there. Not egregious, but certainly if I've done that, I'm not going to rip the entire strip of nickel off, because, you know, let's say I get to here and I blow up in the last one, I'll just run another second strip of ladder across the top of it and make sure I'm more careful with where I place it, just because that's probably how it should be done. But ripping it off is impractical, and I understand that, because you might risk blowing a hole in a cell, and the cell's expensive. A little bit of damage to the nickel doesn't really matter as long as you replace it. So I'd double stack it, and I'd probably end up double stacking the entire thing anyway. More nickel is less heat, I suppose. All depends how much oomph this thing draws. If it's only a 100-watt motor, it's not going to draw very much power at all. But yeah, so that's pretty much all I've got to report there. Nothing else very exciting. When it comes time to rebuild it, I will hopefully be able to include you in the process and show you my new spot welding machine in action, and we'll be popping this together. Thank you very much for watching this much of it, and we'll cut back in a bit. Okay, right, I have had a delivery. It contains lovely cells. These are Samsung 50E cells with the updated script on them, saying that they're more than 4,900 milliamp hour, so they are the latest ones of those, which is super duper awesome. I need to get these out of here. stick some insulating rings on top of them. Hopefully I've got the right amount. I should be get 28 of them, I think. I'll have a little count in a moment once I get them out of the bags. There we go. Don't normally come in bags, they normally come in boxes, but I don't know. These ones came in bags today. And I've completely run out of space, so there's stuff everywhere, and I'm so... Oh, hello. So sorry about that. But at least you can kind of see. Can you see up to here? Yeah, look, you can see up to here. So, I suppose that's better than not being able to see up to there, isn't it? Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. That's just the number I wanted. So I've got these insulating rings to stick on. That one is a no-go, but the rest of them should be alright. Nope, you're sticking to the paper. You're not sticking to the paper. Very good, we'll start from this end then. Hopefully, I'm going to be able to speed this up for you in the edit, as they say, because this is going to take a couple of minutes. Also, I'm very wrapped up because it's freezing. Absolutely freezing cold. Which is not good, so I'm going to be working probably a little bit slowly because I can't feel my hands. And I'm going to have to stick on every single one of these at quite the painfully slow space, and I've got a massive coat on again because it's quite cold, which means that every time I reach near a cell I'm going to knock it over. I'm going to have to pick them up and do them one at a time like that and then put them over there. So it's going to take a while, I think. Or unless I can do it with my left hand. Like that. Oh, that's faster, isn't it? Okay, undo that with right hand. Get it. Go with left hand. Oh, look at that. That's much better. Putting it down every single time. Ugh, I'm not buying these from this supplier again, these are terrible. Things don't come off. Those. Nearly there now. I'm going to get my girlfriend to do this bit. It's a lot less bother, I find. No, they're terrible, aren't they? They just come off in the wrong way entirely. The rings themselves are fine, but the The way they're cut is super annoying. Go away. Right, ta-da! We've got cells. There we go. And the way I've got this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7S, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4P. And I've got this lovely bag here of goodies, which are 21/700 cell holders, which is awfully convenient, isn't it? So I will pop these all together in whatever format I deem appropriate for fitting in the case and all that. So, well, it'll fit. I need them to be basically 4 by 7. So I suppose, am I best off making them 4 long and then putting some sideways? Probably, yeah. So 7 long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. 4, 5, 6, 7, like that. So that'll be, oh yeah, not quite perfect in there, but it'll fit. Then I normally get my rubber mallet and I just tap them down. That, so that they're a nice flat block. And then here I'm going to need 1, 2, and I'm going to have to, unfortunately, waste a bit, but such is the way. So I'll join those 2 together first. Just break that. No, I broke it, just clicked. And then that one's going to have to go like that and stick out a bit, but that's fine. I could cut it off, but I don't think I've got so much room in this case, it's not going to matter. Oh, that one can go like that. Then they'll go on there. Like that. And this, I'll just put the BMS up here or something, because there's plenty of room for it to fit in the case. I don't think we're even slightly concerned about fitting. And then that goes like that. So, I'm going to simply do 1, 2, 3, 4, flip them over, and repeat. 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. Knock them all over. 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4 that way. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 that way. And there is our 7S4P pack, the 50Es. Now I've got to make up the other end, of course. So that one involved doing the same thing again. So the other end, the other side of the spacers. So that's, God, they're stiff. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 5, 6, 7, won't go on there. Right, 7. And then 1, 2, 3 of those. And they'll go 1 to 2 and 2 to 3. Right, now, when this is flipped over, I want those to be like that. So I want those to be like that, and that'll go up the same way. So these ones are going to fit in that way. A little bit like that. There we go. And then that's all ready for me to cut some nickel and start spot welding it on, which will be the next step. I'm going to have to move you over to my super cool spot welding machine now to do that, because, well, that's on the other side of the room and I'm here. So I'll do that and I'll meet you over there. Okay, we're on the other side. I've knocked that off. Great, good start. Get back on. No! Small disaster has occurred. Just bear with me. I swear I'm competent. I'm not insane. Okay, there we go. I'm on this side now and all set up with the spot welder, so that'll do that. Now, it's at the wrong height at the moment, so I'm going to have to adjust that. I've got 2 screws on this side and 2 screws on the other side that you can't see to do that. And you adjust it, it says between about 4. Open the air pump and the welding pin is about 4mm higher than the nickel sheet. I'm guessing, well, I say I'm guessing. I leave a 4mm gap, pretty much. What I need to do, so I lift that up from underneath because it's really heavy, and I happily drop that down on top of the cells and then lift it up till I get about some millimetres. Now I need to be able to clear these spaces, otherwise it's a right pain. So if I start doing up that one, and one, and that one, and that one. Okay, should all be set up and screwed in, which is good. Yeah, look at that, nice distance away. Right, so I've also made a tiny little upgrade. You can't see, well, you'll see in a second. If I plug this in here, I've now got light, which is very, very useful. Couldn't see before. It's a bit darker over this side than where I normally film, so it was really hard to see. But now you can fairly clearly see the area that you're working, which is nice. It's not an ideal light, really. I want to get a like a cob LED little strip square thing and stick it on here somewhere. That would be ideal for like a direct light onto what I'm doing, but not yet. So I'm gonna need, in this lovely box here, some nickel strip 4 21/700s. Should look like that, but why do I only have that much of it? I need some more, bear with me. I've got more. It's over the other side. Where's that gone? Where's that gone? I'll be right back. Turns out I found it immediately. It's just here. Just chilling. It's around. Launch that over there somewhere. Okay, there we go. Some of that there. Right. So that's the nickel I'm going to need. Pop you. Oh, hello. I stood on the bloody button. Crikey. It's all going on today. So I'll chop these into the strip sizes that I need. which will be 4p. So I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4 bits of nickel and chop right there. 1, 2, 3, 4 bits of nickel and chop right there. And I'm a hoarder, so I'm going to keep that bit in that box of bits. And I need 1, 2, 3, and then there'll be a single one. And then for the other side, I'll need 4, 5, 6, and then another single one. So I'm going to need 6 bits like this. So that's 2 already cut. I'll deal with that in a sec. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then that's 3 bits cut. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 bits cut. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 bits cut. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6 bits cut. And then for the, and put my phone on silent, output tabs, so the last rows, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 again. And then I can just cut these along here. Like that. And I might go in the middle there, so I've got a little tab in case I want to spot weld the solder the balance lead onto there instead. There you go. Then there's one strip for the end and one strip for the other end. I can cut them off if I want to in a minute. I don't know how I feel about it. And then for these ones, I'm going to the series strips, or series and parallel strips. I'm going to chop off one of these little legs here because I only need to solder one balance wire onto each one. So I'm going to chop one of them off every single one of these. 3, 4, 5, and there's 6. I'm going to cut along to there so it's all the same length as everything else and chop that off. So that's 6 of those. Right. Settings wise, this says steel nickel, pure nickel, body road wire, 362, 60 milliseconds. I've got mine set to 100 milliseconds. It seems to stop in the last video I did on it, a bit of a blowy up problem. It seems to be a bit more dialed in now, so I've got it set to 262 and then a longer timer, which seems to work, I think. But what I will do, I'm going to turn this up to 360 on the spot welder. You can't see the setting, but it's not important. The number I'm setting is the number it tells me to set it to in that super duper handy manual. There you go. Right, so I like to lay these out so that the balance lead is never on the positive side. I like it on the negative side. Like I say balance lead, it's balance, well yeah, balance tab, as it were. So I like to set them out like that. And I'll go in here and I will, hopefully my hand's not covering everything. Oh, it is. You can't really see what's going on, can you? Well, I need to see more than you do right now, so let me get a couple of these down and maybe I'll rearrange the camera angle and see. Right, so still getting a little bit of sticking, but it's much less bad than it was. I don't seem to be just blowing holes endlessly in the top of cells as well, which is pretty handy. So there you go, it's laying down some pretty nice spot welds there, which are, I can't pull them off easily anyway. I'll do a proper strength test later, but I've tested out the settings a bit more since last time I got it, when I'd only had it a few days, and it seems to be going much better now, which is good. It's like that. Oh my goodness. Look at me go. I'm having a day today. I'm having a day. I pulled everything out. Oh no. What did I do that for? Okay, it's back. I'm going to not do that again. It's this bit that sticks up. I keep sticks out. I keep catching it, but it's all okay. Everything's fine. Right, next strip then. I'll see if I can get you a better angle, perhaps. And if I lean you, you might shake every time I spot weld. If I lean you against everything, look at that. Look, you could have a mighty view there. Let's see how much you shake, if it's nauseating or not. Because you're currently on two legs of the tripod, but also the table, the desk, the work top. So I'm looking from directly overhead now to make sure that's nice and lined up. And I'm pretty sure it is. There's a spark guard here, so it might disrupt your view a bit through the camera, but yeah, the probes are barely sticking now at all, which is nice. So I think I've got the settings much more dialed in than they were before. Oh, no, look, that's the blown one. I wasn't holding it though. Seems better when I hold it. So, has that gone through, or is it just... Let's investigate, see if I need to double up the strip or not. What do we reckon on that then? Where have you gone? Oh, that one there. No, it's not blown through. Be fine. I need to do a better job of pressing down on them as I do it, so that the strip can't move at all or anything. Like that. Nope. It does it anyway. See, this is the issue I keep coming back to with this machine, is it randomly will just start doing that for no particular reason. And then sometimes it won't do it at all. Very strange. I guess it's just a matter of dialing it in and getting things a bit closer. Oh, look, the screen's broken on the spot welder. It's not meant to say that, is it? This keeps happening as well. Okay, I'll turn this off and back on again, and it goes back to normal. But that's what keeps happening to it. It's not meant to do that, is it? No. No, I don't think that it is. How did I put you before? Were you in there? You were there. Professional camera work, this. How's that for a view? Look at that. You can see everything now. If I was in front of the camera, you'd be able to see all my nose hair. Okay, right, let's go again. That's laying down some nice bars now, but it's not focusing. Ah, look. With that there, wants to focus on that. With that not there, much happier. I mean, I can see better as well, to be honest. But it's getting that little bit of sticking still, which I don't really like. It's not helpful. I'd love if the probes didn't stick. Be my main thing. I can see it's leaving behind a bit of probe there though. Look, there's a different colour just there. It's almost like a pinky gold colour on the spot. Well, you can just make it out just there. And I think that's... See where it's sticking? It's depositing a bit of the tip on the nickel there, which I don't really want, to be honest, but I don't know what I can do about that, so... Here we are. I think I am going to leave this extra tab on here, because especially for the positive side, it's going to make my life easier for soldering on the... No, it's not. Look, it's not long enough to do anything useful. Oh, goodbye then. Off it goes. I'll just trim that off. And I'll be doubling this up anyway. I feel like one of these tabs is really quite man enough. Stop sticking. So thinking about it, I hadn't actually cut enough of the nickel strips beforehand, because then I couldn't double them up here for the positive and the negative, but that's fine, I can cut one more. It's not world ending. Sure, we'll all be fine. Let's see how it does with double layer at the same power level. What's that like? Does that feel welded up? Oh, that's nice. Moving all around, yeah. Excellent. Still sticks with two. Still tries to blast the buggers with two. There we go. Around there like that. So that's one side done. You can see how much time this saves. Fantastic. Really, really brilliant. I'm a big fan. Such a big fan, some call me a windmill. One of my old friends used to say. Right, I'll cut another strip quickly. Away. Just cutting down another bit of ladder off camera. You can see the bits shooting off. I should of course be making sure that none of this nickel can be anywhere near my my work area, because if once I start spot welding both sides together, I could short it out, which I don't really want to do I? That would be annoying. So let's pop the first layer of this down. This will be the main negative terminal of the pack. Oh, starting to pull the cell holders apart there. I'm going to work around the tripod now. Go. Not cut that one very well, did I? A bit more like it. Okay, let's get that second strip slid on there. Lined up nice and even. Nice and crisp and even. I can do 3 spot welds on the main negative because I can. I've got a machine that does it for me. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. punch the camera. Excuse me. So we do not want to put the strip across these two terminals like that because it will blow up. What we do want to do is try and show you. Tipping the sounds out. We're bridging, for example, this group to this group. We're not going to join the same side as these two, so we're going to go there to there, there to there, there to there, but on this side of the pack. So that's the other side of our main negative here. We're not going to join this to this on that side of the pack, we're going to join this to this. Which is why I started off with a main negative, because then I can't get confused. Not that I often do it, but I can't do it wrong then. I know I can't line it up like that because I'm on a strip. I have to do it separately to the others, which is just a good way for me to make sure I'm doing everything nicely and properly. So looking from above, making sure my strip's all nice and square, and beginning to spot weld. Now this machine I don't think is the be all and end all of all battery building ever, but I tell you, for square packs like this, doesn't half make life easier. There's an awful lot of time holding two probes and trying to line them up perfectly every time. This gives consistent and reliable results. Now I know I've had the odd hiccup with it sticking or doing that thing where it blasts a bit out, but once you sort of start to get the settings a bit dialed in, it's really not bad. Go, and we're on to our last one. What's that been? 20 minutes of spot welding, something like that. Not too bad if you ask me. That's a huge time saver, just in having to reset myself every time I go to do a spot weld, or having a machine that gets hot in your hand and you've got to wait for it to cool down, or some of the supercapacitor machines, a bit like I've got a Do-Create, I don't know how you say it. I've got one of those, and if you spot welded too fast, basically you need to use it on one of the higher power levels for it to actually give you a good spot weld. I basically had mine maxed out the entire time I was using that, and if you do that, the capacitors drain quicker than it can charge, so you've still got to sit around for a while waiting. And this whole machine is just so oversized. Look at that. If I can lift up the whole pack by that weld, I think that'll do. Yeah, it's just so oversized. Like the size of these, let's see if I can show you here. Size of these power leads going to it. They're not even warm. Nope. In fact, I'll tell you what it is. It's not cold. That's all I've noticed there with that. So that's just means you can just bash out packs. So the other day I had to build, I think 6 identical packs, they're all going in the same style of case. So it's just 6 of the same. I had everything laid out. I cut all the nickel first, got all the cells ready in the cell holders. I brought them over here, one after the other, bosh, 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 bosh. Took me a couple hours, and it was all done. Huge time saver. I'm pretty pleased with it. Again, I know it's got its hiccups, but nothing too crazy. And yeah, right. So that is now all spot welded up. I'm going to take this back over that way to the first side of the room that we're on, and we can start soldering the BMS on and stuff. Very exciting. Okie dokie, right, we're back over here now. What I think I'm going to do is reuse the BMS. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it at all, as far as I can tell. Obviously, it'll get tested. But looks absolutely fine to me, and half the wires are already soldered onto it. So what I'll do is I'll just put a new balance lead on it, and I'll just take this one off. I think it's going to be the answer to how I do this bit. It's already got its bit of fiberboard. It's already got its temp sensor right there. Provided everything lines up, you know, relatively easily. It's seems like a good way to go for this. Solder out of the way. So I'm going to have to desolder the main positive here, which will probably involve peeling off this hot glue. Peeling off this hot glue. There you go. Get a bit of fresh solder on there, so there's some flux involved in the situation, and pop that off there. There you go, nice and easy. I'll even put that balance wire back on there. Oh, and I'll drop the soldering iron and everything off it. I'll take that with me, because that's very handy. Saves cutting a new bit. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's, you know, it's a piece of fiberboard. It's the same as every other bit of fiberboard. And then I'll have to find the, there you go, look, that was crunchy. Find the main negative terminal here. I'll do the same thing, desolder that. Okay. They've just used a single bit of strip. I think it was thicker strip. So me doubling it up's done a very, very similar thing. There you go. That's off there. Now these cells can go bye-bye. And the new pack could say hello. Those in the bin. So I'll tin up all my points here. This one, I'm going to get a bit of solder on there first, and then a bit of solder on the back of that, and then I can push that over, and then they're definitely joined together nicely and actually conducting a useful bit of power. It's that one, it's that one, it's that one, it's that one. This is going to start to get really hot. It's got hot, there you go. There's that one. I need more solder. Where's it gone? There we go. Oh, hello. A reel of it here. That'll make life easier, won't it? One of those. Do the same thing here. Or I just get a bit of solder under and over it first, just to make sure that they're soldered together and actually doing what I want them to do. Excellent. So, where are you going to go then? Let's plan this out a touch, shall we? That's the box there. It doesn't matter which way this sits, as long as it doesn't sit that way. In fact, it could actually sit that way if I just chop these off. So, it doesn't matter what way it sits. I believe previously it was set that way, sort of long ways in there, but now it's a slightly different shape, so it doesn't matter too much. Obviously it's smaller now. I'll tell you what, I probably am going to get rid of these, because heat shrinking in with that on it's going to be a bloody nightmare, isn't it? What I find easiest with these is I can just chop it there and chop it there, and then it's pretty much cut off as flush as I need it to be. There's no point trying to chop through all this. I'll just splinter it all and ruin it, which is a waste of time. That much will be fine because the BMS will be about that tall anyway by the time it's all sat in there. So our main negatives up here. Really, we actually want to put the BMS on this end, so that can join to that and that can join to that then. But it's not really enough length, is it, on this cable? No, it isn't. Well, that's a shame. I was hoping I could just reuse that. I mean, I can, but it's a bit of a stretch. What do we think? Is that too much of a stretch? I mean, it's not really, is it, if it just sits there nicely? More slack on that if I get you bent properly. It's not outrageous, is it? It's not like it's really, really, really tight. It's just kind of tight-ish. So that goes on there. I think we'd get away with that. I think that'll be fine. So, let's get that popped on there. I like to use some... Where's it gone? I've lost it. Here we go. Double-sided tape. So it's foam tape. Go on there. That'll go on there. And that can go on there. And then can do one of those and one of those. One of those and one of those. Right, let's make sure you're definitely going to reach with all these extra layers put on you. Probably on there a little bit like that. Yeah, plenty of room. And then, because obviously I've had to step it that way a bit so it reaches, I'll get some of this. Please don't be full of spiders, please don't be full of spiders. Oh, dead spiders. Get off. Freaky. Super wide fibre tape, and I'll get a bit maybe that long and pull down on it, and I can really make sure that that's stuck down nicely. You know what, might go around the whole thing while I'm at it. Wouldn't normally bother right now, but I'm here, aren't I? So, yeah. There we are. Sticky. Just save me shortening anything out for a minute, won't it? Right. That reaches quite nicely, actually. It's just what I would call the right length. Where's my solver? There it is. There it is. I'm an idiot. No, I'm not. I'm fine. I'm not an idiot. I mean, I might be, but not because of what I thought I was. So that gets nice and warm. It's a 60 watt soldering iron, so it's not super strong, but it's not too weak either. Just takes a moment to heat things up. There we go. Very nice. I've thrown things on the floor. Now I have this nice bit of barley paper left over from something else that I'm going to use to insulate this here, and you know what, I might use the whole thing up. That's underneath there, so that'll be held down nicely against the cells. I'll probably just need to cut out or tear it. Just about there, I think. That should work nicely. Let's get you on there. Let's get you round there. You need to be under there, so you're on the cells. That's going to work nicely, I think. Good. Get you all lined up, just like that. Very good. Might not be the stickiest barley paper in the world right now, but it won't make a difference once it's covered in more barley paper and 100 layers of tape. It's just, it seemed a shame to throw that one in the bin, and there was nothing wrong with it. You know, it's still barley paper. Not going to cost the customer any extra money. It's not really going to save me any money. It just felt wasteful to be launching it for no reason. So, positive cable wise, that's going to get soldered onto just here like that. Let's do that then. Let's get that done. Next, let's put the solder on there. Give you a bobber solder and let you get nice and warm. Beautiful, that's burning my fingers. Hold it still till the colour changes. And that's not soldered on very well. I have to do that with a pair of pliers. Burning my hands. There we go. Much better. Much, much better. Let's put that back. Right. And then we've got our balance wires to solder on. Now, I'm quite a fan of leaving slack on the balance wires. I'm not against having them being a bit neat here and, you know, getting them going like that so they look vaguely pretty, but I am a fan of, if there's room in the case, you leave this little bundle of slack, you know, like that or whatever, cable tied up against the near the BMS somewhere, because I find just makes things easier. If you ever have to do any adjustments in the future, if the BMS wires are just long enough, horrible job. It's like when I used to be an electrician, I did not like when you go to a job and there's no slack at all. What if I have to change the BMS? What if the BMS dies and I've got to change it and it's a bit longer, so it comes up to here and there's no slack on the BMS wires? Of course you want a bit of slack. I think it just is better. What way round were you? I'm going to check the old one. Knew I shouldn't have moved it. You were the same way round. Fantastic. Look at that. All the same way round. Lovely. Right, let's get you into there. To cut this open, just like that, and like that. Give me access. Give me access. You can go in there like that. Lovely. I'm probably going to leave that for a minute because I'm going to want to know what way around they all go, aren't I? Oh, do I have enough to go all the way around there? Nope. So we're going this way. So, positive wire here. One, and I like to give them a little tug test just to make sure that they're soldered on properly. You know, I'm confident in my soldering skills, but I just like to check. Let's go secondly. we've got this one, which will go over there. Nice tug. Give it a tug. Everyone loves a good tug. That's not very PG. And then this one. And then this one. And then this one. This one. And that one. And finally, our negative wire here. Tug test on that. Right, and then to make these look, you know, some semblance of vaguely pretty-ish, I'm always quite fond of cutting myself off some little bits of tape first, and then what kind of tape do I want to use? I meant to have thin. Oh, there you go. Thin spider-infested Kapton tape. Hopefully nobody's afraid of cobwebs. I'm scared of cobwebs. Don't ask why I'm touching them. Being brave for the camera or something. Something like that. Oh, fresh roll, look at that. So yeah, I like to pre-cut myself a couple of bits of tape. I just find it makes life easier. He says as though he had a sharp knife, sharp blade in his Stanley. And he wasn't just using the bluntest one you've ever seen. Barely cuts. Go. That should be enough to get me started anyway. So, in the middle, bend the wire, in the middle, bend the wire, and you can make them look, you know, a little bit pretty. Which is, you know, fine. I don't see the fuss in making them absolutely perfect. I mean, on the one hand, I do totally get, oh, have pride in your work and stuff, and definitely don't chuck battery packs together. But ultimately, one day, someone's just going to rip it apart because it'll be broken. You know, cells have a finite life span. And it's only going to get taken apart again. Someone's put this bloody great negative cable in the way of my lovely pretty wires. Who's done that? It's outrageous, is what it is. Let's get you stuck down, and you stuck down, and you stuck down. And then... not really done that the ideal way, have I? But it'll be alright. You'll have to go over there probably, take a bit of a turn. It'd be nice if you went up there, but it's a bit all in the way of all the other wires and stuff, isn't it? I wonder if you'll fit through there. You might just go through there instead. Let's have a gander, shall we? Well, I've just made a mess. That's what I've done. I've just made a mess. It was all looking so adequate, so almost acceptable. Now look at it. Well, that's what you get for trying. And where does that positive cable think it's going? Completely the wrong side. So's that one. Well, it'll be alright. With regards to these running awfully close to this cable, I'm not concerned. This balance wire is so thin, it's barely going to take an amp before it blows anyway. Doesn't really matter at all. It's sort of irrelevant. So if for some reason something ever did short out, which, I mean, realistically, probably won't, but if it did, all that's going to happen, little psst, smoke, turn off, and it'll need to be looked at anyway, just as if, you know, anything else broke, came loose, fell apart, etc. It's not going to make a whole world of difference, and therefore don't see the point. So because we've soldered all our balance leads at different lengths to one another, these are never going to line up perfectly all the way to the BMS itself. It's just not going to happen. Just don't expect that, and you won't be disappointed. Where's the end of this ridiculous tape gone? There it is. It was beginning to be pretty. That was almost nice. Pop that on there. Pop that on there. Pop that over it. Look at that. It's almost thinking about being neat. Right, yeah, so these are never going to be the same length. Because I didn't, you know, trim them that end. Because I don't believe in it. What's the point? Complete waste of time. Could be doing something useful like testing the battery in that time. But what you can be doing is just gathering it all up like that. And folding it back on itself. And folding it back on itself again, or however many times you may require, making this disgusting, ugly bundle of ugly. And cable tying it up. You know, I'll tell you what, I wish I had more hands. Wish I had more. I don't have enough. It would be so helpful in my life if I just had 27 hands, like some kind of evil sea monster. Excellent. Then that can be taped over there, and it's not really that in the way. I might use another massive piece of fibre tape for this, because why not? It's going to want taping this way anyway, isn't it? This first layer doesn't have to be beautiful, it's just to contain the wires. Tell you what I do want to do though, is make sure that if the positive and negative battery wires do not touch ever. That's something I don't want. Oh look, some barley paper I pre-cut a different day to today. How much do I want? About that much. And that's going to go between you and you, because I never ever 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 want you getting close ever. That really would be a bad day. You know what, we'll double it up because we can. Oh. Okay, that was the air compressor going off and scaring the absolute cheesy Watsits out of me, which was not good. Not something we want, but here we are. I say going off, it was actually coming on, not going off, but semantics at that point. Right, let's get one of those up to there, have it overlap a little bit. So the first layer, doesn't matter if it's that pretty, it's mostly there just to make sure nothing wiggles about while I'm doing everything else. And then for this, I'm going to fold that round there, fold you over and fold that round there. Okay, so now that the wires can't move about, that's all nice and solid on there, it can have a layer of, everything's in the way. I'm not even going to test this because I'm so confident that it's going to, I mean obviously I'm going to test it. I'm not going to test it now before I, get everything going on it, because I'm so violently confident in my own abilities. Not really, it'll be fine. So, barley paper. 2 lots should do it. One wrap round that end and one wrap round the other end. So I'll start sort of halfway ish. Where's halfway ish? Halfway ish is about there, isn't it? That over there. I'm sure you've seen me do this before. If you haven't, what an experience this must be. Very exciting. Watching a man wrap up a battery. Nope, I can't cut straight. Nope, it doesn't matter. I'll go across there. The main thing with this layer is just make sure it's tight, because this is the layer that, ideally will look a little bit pretty. And I like to cut in the corners there, like that. Right up from the corners. I find it helps. Then I can fold them over. And I'll do one more up this bit. So here I know I need to overlap, just a little bit over what I've already done, but not too much. The edge today. Nice and tight. Nice toy. Yes, I know I can't cut in a straight line. I wish I could. Almost as much as... Oh, hello. I've still got that bit left over. Almost as much as probably you wish I could cut in a straight line because it's not all wibbly wobbly. Okay. One of those. And this angle here is going to be... Random cells just floating around. This angle here is going to be a little bit off because that's where that extra bit of cell holder was, but no matter. Okay, so I'm going to chop that corner, that corner, that corner, and that corner. Then I can fold in one side, two side, three side, and then for the fourth side I'm going to have to make a little slit in that, I think. I mean, I don't have to. I do. It's going to be easier. Fold you over nice and tight, and you over nice and tight, and chop you off. Stick a bit more there for good measure. Why not? That's pretty much dressed aside from heat shrink then, which is exciting, isn't it? Make sure this is nicely stuck down. I find the longer something sticky, you know, tape, etc., stays on a surface, it tends to, I don't know if self-amalgamate is a real phrase. If it is, that's what I find it does. I find it self-amalgamates to, you know, whatever it's been stuck to. If you've had to remove a bit of tape or something that's been on it for a very long time, it's so stuck on and all its goo is gooey and stuff. And so that first layer of this that's on the pack is hopefully going to make it easy. If one day somebody has to open this, or I do, that the barley paper, when it sticks to a cell, leaves behind all its goo in a very annoying fashion, and this hopefully will just come off in one. Obviously it's going to leave residue behind because it's sticky, it's got glue on it, but the barley paper just comes off in little bits, really annoying. This should, given its fibrous nature, come off in a whole piece, I hope. And then we want to do a layer of Kapton tape, which is the non-conductive goldy coloured stuff. You can sort of do that whenever you like, really. Don't find it makes too much. Some people really think it should go on first. Some people don't. I personally don't care. It, you know, going on is what matters. Then with every layer of tape, aside from that very first layer, I try and do everything really, really, really tight. Or as tight as I can manage it relatively easily, because I find it just helps hold everything together a bit better. Oh no. That one. So I'm putting tension on this the whole time I'm winding it round the pack, because the idea with these is, you know, it's going to be on this particular one's going on a wheelchair, but often they're on bikes, and they're going to get vibrated around, they're going to get rattled around. What we don't want is anything to ever come loose because of vibration, rattling and that kind of thing. We want it to all be nice and happy and solid all the time. That's what we're aiming for here. So, and the tighter you can get it, at least in my opinion, the tighter you can get it, the less problems we're going to have. Right, there we go. All ready for heat shrink. I've got a big box of heat shrink here. What size am I going to want? I don't normally do 4p of 21700 cell holders, so that's a good question, isn't it? I don't know the sizes. I did have them labelled. I don't anymore. When I run out of heat shrink, I go and I buy a mass amount of every single. There's no way that's big enough. I go and I buy a mass amount of every single size of heat shrink, and then I end up with the stuff I use all the time again. That might be too big. What have I got that's in the middle? Oh, that one. Get that. Hopefully, that's a good size. Oh, look at that. It's a good size. That's what we want. So, we want a bit of overlap at the top, an inch or two, a bit of overlap at the bottom, again, inch or two, and then the ends can sort of be smooshed up over it. Very thick stuff, this, which is good. Like that. And that's not a fully charged battery, is it? Bear with me. We'll walk over the 4 steps it takes to get it over to the other side of here, and then let that get warm, start heat shrinking. There you go. You know it's working because the heat shrink starts to heat shrink. So I like to give it a quick first pass just to make sure that all the sides have a chance to shrink somewhat evenly. Otherwise, if you focus on one side, it shrinks loads and loads and loads and loads. And then you do the other sides, and it almost doesn't really have a chance to, I don't know, catch up or shrink evenly. And this way, I find I get a more happy result out of it. And a mains powered heat gun, not a cordless one, would certainly be quicker. I'm quite a fan of watching the heat shrink, to be honest. And a mains powered one, it's really easy to overheat the heat shrink and split it. And this one, whilst it, it's still hot, it's shrinking it, and if I touch it, it will burn my fingers. It's a little bit more gentle, I find. And you've still got just that bit more time to work with it. Plus, I bought this at my previous job, and now if I don't use it, I'll have wasted my money. And I bought these when they were quite expensive. I think it was, well, I say quite expensive, it wasn't awful, but it was the best part of 100 quid. And of course, now they are much, much cheaper. You can get knockoff ones and all sorts that take, DeWalt and Milwaukee or whatever battery you are tied into. And yeah, I don't really want to feel like I wasted my money, so I don't. There we go. Got a lovely uncut battery here. American people will get that joke, maybe. Hold that on there. Then, well, as that cools down, it will sort of solidify flat-ish. Flat-ish is all we can ever hope for with heat shrink. I can't do much better than that. Quite a big fan of using this stuff next on the ends. How am I going to hold you upright for the camera? I'm not. I'm going to put a bit of tape on the end. I'm going to measure it. Ish. I'm going to cut it. Ish. I'm going to stick it on ish, and you'll see when it's done, I guess, because I can't hold that upright. Okay. This has got a bit of sort of amalgamating goo on the bottom of it. I think it's air conditioning tape or something like that. I'm not entirely sure actually, but tends to work pretty well for sealing the ends of batteries. As well as anything's going to work. Ultimately, it's not going to be waterproof. It might be splash proof or water resistant, but if the cells get hot and I'm not going to make it, can't be airtight from anything I can manage. If the air gets hot, the cells get hot and the air is cold, as it condensates around it, I'm not going to be able to stop water condensing inside here. So even if I did make it completely waterproof, it would end up filling up with water, and the cells will be sitting in a puddle. So I like to make it, nice. Better is sort of what I aim for. As with all these things, there's a limit, to what you can do. Right then, that should be able to go in there like that. Can I get the tape over it like that? I think I can. There's just enough slack. Excellent. About that long? About that long. That's what I'm going to go with. Peel the back off. Let's do that. There we go. Okay. So that's going to live like that. That's going to live like that. There's loads of room. It all needs padding out with foam and stuff. What I'll do now, I think, because it's all together and done, should we test it? Should we see if it charges? I'm going to use my adjustable power supply to give it a charge here, because the proper way to charge it is by, oh my goodness, I've thrown things, is by hooking it up to the actual wheelchair itself. And when you do that, you've got to have a wheelchair. Now I've got it, but not here. It's in the garage. So my power supply is set to 29.4 volts. 29.4 volts. That's probably, amps are up way too high, probably at 5 amps, which is more than I want to charge it at right now. That one says plus, that one says minus. Let's verify that. The plus says it's on this side. And it is. That's good. I'm happy with that. Let's just sit that on there. Let's get the negative hooked up there. And the positive, I'm just going to touch it to it just in case it blows up. Nope, there you go. Look, 1.5 amps charging, which means I did it right. Right, they can go on there. I'm just going to charge it at its, well, 1.5 amps is fine. I'll give it a chance to charge up and balance and stuff. And then I will capacity test it. I'll show you the result of the capacity test. Hopefully, I'll show you putting it back together if I remember, or we'll go straight to it trying it out on the chair itself and seeing if that works. So, yeah, very exciting. I guess I will cut back. Okay, excuse the outrageous mess. There's the pack. It has been tested, and there you go, 18.79 amp hours, which is awfully close to 19 amp hours, which is what you'd expect. Now, the reason that's not showing 20 amp hours bang on or above is I was testing it at 20 amps, which is a little bit, well, you're never going to see these values unless you're discharging at like 5 amps from this many cells anyway. But yeah, so that was until the BMS cut it off, and that's its cut-off voltage that's resting at now. I think, there you go, look, 1 hour 52 minutes time-wise, because it slows down as it gets towards the end. But that's all good to go. You don't expect absolutely perfect results anyway. If it was giving 15 amp hours, for example, we know something was horribly wrong. If it gave us 25 amp hours, something's horribly wrong. But that is par for the course for what I'd expect for a 20 amp hour pack to test at, you know, a high discharge level like that. That's fairly normal. So I'll get this all bolted, screwed, put back together, popped in the wheelchair, and we shall hopefully see the wheelchair unfold and be able to be driven around with its little joystick, make sure it's all working, and if that's the case, I will let the customer know and they can come get it. It's very exciting. Yeah. Right, so I've got my super handy camera woman helping out now. I've got the battery pack screwed in-ish. It goes in a bag. I've got no idea how it goes, so I'm just pretending that's not there for now. This is the power discharge plug. I'm going to plug that in, he says. Okay, that's plugged in. Now, it should unfold. I don't know how to get it to unfold. If we come over to this nice control panel just here. Oh, there's something. Oh, there you go. You turn this to position 1 and it starts to unfold, and 2 folds itself up. That's good. Right, so get this in the middle of the room. Let's press it to number 1. It should unfold itself. The rise of the machines. Fantastic. And that should fold itself back up, which it's probably going to do. Let's do it again. Why not? Who doesn't want an even longer video? I'm sure that's really fun for everybody who's an hour and a half into this and wishing for it to be over because they just want to know if it works. How many times do I do this? 3, 4, it's alive. Okay. I'm assuming these are speed controls of low to fast. This should it's confusing that it's backwards. The steering is backwards, so when I move the joystick to the left, it goes right. When I move the joystick to the right, it goes left. When I go backwards, it goes backwards, and when I go forwards, it goes forwards. But whatever, I'm assuming this is the horn. There you go. Seems to work. Fantastic. So we know that you can, in fact, resell one of these batteries. Thanks very much for watching. If you like this kind of thing, please feel free to like the video, share the video, comment, subscribe, become a channel member, all that good stuff, and I'll see you next time. It does in fact charge, so charger's there, both lights are red, and then we've got the charger plugged in there, and it's registering, you're probably upside down now, sorry, that it's charging. Very exciting. And you can't use it while it's charging, the joystick goes dead, which is, I'm assuming, a safety thing.
Very comfy chair.